They were young, ambitious guys, and like every young man, they wanted to enjoy life and make their dreams come true. But suddenly everything has been turned upside down. The communism came to Albania, and their lives changed irreversibly. This 7 kilometers long, winding and in many parts very dangerous road leads us up to the mountains. Where in the 1960s the Spaç prison was built, and which parts of the structure survived to this day.
Kjo tashti është komanda, kur ishin oficerët e ndryshëm që shërbeshin këtu pranë burgut.
During the communist oppression throughout Enver Hoxha rule, many Albanians were sentenced to death, prisons or labor camps for political reasons. Angelinda Bardako, who worked as a vet in North Albania, was accused of wearing sunglasses, which in the opinion of the police were used for propaganda reasons. He ended up in prison for 7 years. Each of 1,400 inmates in Spaç had their own story to tell, but one thing is common for everyone. In the eyes of communists, they were very dangerous enemies of the nation, who should be subjected to so-called re-education programs. In fact, the majority of imprisoned were intellectuals, artists, and well-educated people who were intentionally mixed with an ordinary criminals in order to make a perception that all people are bad here.
Dhe në prill të 68, atëherë ka ardhur kampi i të burgosur më që realizuan fabrikën në Elbasan, I punën për dirigentin këtu.
Spaç was a combination of isolation prison and forced labor camp at the same time. Every day inmates had to work in cruel conditions in the mine, which was very important for the economy of Albania at that time. It was rich in the mineral of copper and it also contained a small percentage of gold that was really precious. The work was with 3 shifts and there was an obligatory norm of 7 wagons per person every day. But when they didn't manage to do their daily duty, they ended up in the tiny isolation cell.
Imagjinoni në temperaturën -15 gradë, -20 gradë që shkote këtu, të ishe në këtë gjendje që jam unë tash, pra një plus bezet dhe një mish bezet.
With the monetary value of the time, 1 wagon would cost 36,000 of Albanian lek, and the profits of the forced labor were destined, for example, to promote communism in the world.
Pra 3 kote kënej kohët vetë, pojnë 30 vetë.
So 3 levels, 10 persons for each, it makes 30.
Dhe 3 kote anëj, ka 6 vetë, pojnë 18 vetë.
And the same there with the 6 persons
Dhe
per level, plus 18.
Ka 2 vetë, 6 vetë.
And here, 3 levels per 2.
Pojnë 54 vetë.
And if you add up the numbers, it makes 54 persons for this space.
Inhuman conditions of living, exhausting work and malnutrition were additionally combined with forced propaganda education. And that's how Javid Lohia spent 14 years of his life. Even though that time has already passed, memories stayed the same.
Sa herë që vjen, ai ke prap njëjtat emocione apo vjen njëri të ulirus?
Vazhdimisht. Po thuaj se njësoj e më tepër.
Po thuaj se njësoj.
Po.
The life of Javid and other survivors after being released from the prison in 1992 also weren't very easy. When Zenel Drango finished his 20 years sentence, it took more than 4 months for him to find a very simple manual labor job. People didn't want to socialize with them, and till now the state didn't make any compensation for their sufferance. With the passage of time, the structure of the former camp crumbled into ruin. Step by step, local people were stealing some parts of the prison in order to earn money.
And that is also very rare for here, he says. It's older, more than 30 years. And it was put in the zone of the mine. And it should be saved like really carefully.
Also these things, it would be bad if some tourists would just take it.
What's more, the political authorities didn't want to take a responsibility for preservation of that place. For these reasons, many parts of the prison are missing now.
Somebody said they in power now are communists or ex-communists, and they don't like this place to be a testimony for the future generation. But maybe it's not this reason. Maybe it's just they are going to neglect this place just to be rich people and to do something which can have some profit.
Nowadays, the Association of the Museum of Spaç, together with Maximilian Kolbe Foundation, Renovabis and the Albanian Justice and Peace Commission, take care for the place. One of their goals is to restore Spaç and turn it into a museum.
Well, after several things we were doing, an idea coming up, let's do something which is concrete, helping the place by working in the terrain. This has a very political meaning. The political message is we will not allow that this place will just be covered by nature, by grass. So, which is an image of silencing the story. And we will not allow silencing it, because this is a very important story to be told in Europe for the future of all of us.
In order to build a better future, the study of the past is really essential. These young people from several European countries know about it very well. By joining the summer camp in Spaç, they wanted to show the respect to the victims and the places of suffering.
I am under a huge impression of the strength of this man that suffered many years.
They met former prisoners and they contributed by practical work to maintain the place.
Yeah, we're doing some cleaning action here, and since there's a lot of plants growing all over, I'm trying to get rid of them. Yeah, I'm not the best cleaning worker, but I like doing my part.
And everyone learned something very important here.
My experience will be for sure richer after when I come back to Poland.
Another thing is the part of the ex-persecuted people, which the awareness towards them, how they suffered, what happened to them, and how the mentality worked. That's something that we need to know to produce a better future.
Every time when you visit such a kind of places, you have only one feeling: you never want that these things will happen again.
And that's what every person who survived Spaç wishes for.
Just
like a dream. They live here.
A dream which unfortunately turned out to be a reality. They have witnessed the deaths of many of their friends and fellow prisoners, but they survived, as they point out, thanks to God, in whom they hoped every day. Now they can share their experience with us, so that, as they say, the same history has never happened again, because nobody deserves it, for any reason.
Brezave të ri I sjalli këtë mesazh. Duhet patjetër me kthy kryet nga kalumja, me mundu me e kuru të kalumen në mënyrë që të ecim përpara. Por nuk kuru e kalumja nuk ecet kur përpara.